He appeared on the horizon, still far away, maybe someone lost, maybe just a traveler passing through. But the father recognized him. He didn't think twice, didn't send a servant, didn't wait for his son to make it to the door. He just pulled up his robe like a man who had stopped caring what anyone thought and ran. The servants stopped what they were doing. This wasn't normal. This was the man who owned everything around them, the man whose word governed that entire household. Men like him don't run, not in that culture, not like that. But he ran, and as he ran, he was smiling, relief, love. "My son," he kept saying under his breath, almost without realizing it. That reckless kid, asked for his share early, left without looking back, never sent word, probably blew through everything, but he's my boy. Still making his way down the road, the son walked with his head down. Shame, regret, the feeling of someone who traded everything for nothing, who had ended up fighting pigs for food. He didn't feel like a son anymore. He was ready to ask just to be taken on as a hired hand. He never even got to say the speech he'd been rehearsing, because his father ran like he'd never had before, and when he finally reached his son, out of breath, sweaty, grinning, he didn't say a word. He just grabbed him and held on. Jesus could have explained grace with a definition. Instead, he told this story, a story so human, so close to home, that it still gets to people 2,000 years later. Because grace isn't just kindness, it isn't just mercy, it isn't just a second chance. It's a love that disarms you before you've earned it, before you've explained yourself, before you've managed to offer anything at all. And that's exactly what makes it so hard to take in. There's a moral logic that all of us carry around inside. It feels completely natural. We learned it as kids. Good grades get rewarded. Hard work gets recognized. Mistakes have consequences. You do something, and then something comes back to you. And without even noticing, we start applying that same logic to God. Obedience brings blessing. Effort builds merit. Purity earns closeness. Clean yourself up first, get better, and then maybe he'll accept you. That's why the older brother ended up outside the party. And he wasn't a bad guy. He was the one who had stayed, who had worked, who had kept his head down and done what was asked of him. And now he was watching his brother, the one who had thrown everything away, being celebrated like nothing had happened. His anger makes sense. It's the anger any reasonable person would feel. And that's exactly where grace starts to get uncomfortable, because it runs on a completely different logic. The religion we naturally default to says, change first, and then maybe God will accept you. Grace says the opposite. You are already loved, and that's what starts to change you. You don't come to God to get accepted. You come because you find out you already are. And our minds push back against that, not because it seems untrue, but because it seems too radical to be real. The Pharisees pushed back, the crowds pushed back, the older brother pushed back, and plenty of Christians who believe in grace theologically are still out there trying to earn what they've already been given, trying to deserve what's already been handed to them, trying to win something that was never up for grabs. And when someone actually believes this, not just as theology, but as something real, their whole life shifts, sometimes in ways that look like crazy to everyone around them. That's what happened with William Borden. In 1904, a 16-year-old boarded a ship to travel around the world. He was the heir to one of the largest fortunes in the United States. He had everything the 20th century promised a young man with his background: access, prestige, a future anyone would want. But on that trip, he saw the real world: poverty, pain, people living and dying without ever hearing what he had been given for free, and something happened inside him. When he got home, he opened his Bible and wrote 2 words on the inside cover: no reserves. He decided to let go of everything. He had found the pearl of great price. He enrolled at Yale, not to build a career, but to get ready for the mission field. At Yale, he started prayer groups, served the homeless in New Haven, and turned down job offers that would have made any young American at the time feel like he'd made it. When he turned down the last one, an executive position at one of the biggest companies in the country, he opened his Bible again and wrote 2 more words: no retreats. He chose to go reach the Kansu Muslims in northwest China, one of the hardest, least promising mission fields anyone could have picked at the time. To get there, he needed to learn Arabic first, so he went to Egypt, and that's where something unexpected happened. He came down with meningitis, and about 2 weeks later, he died. He was 25 years old. He never made it to the field he had chosen. After he died, someone opened William Borden's Bible one last time and found the last words he had written: no regrets. William Borden didn't die as a martyr in some public execution. He died of an illness, far from where he wanted to be, without seeing any fruit from the choices he had made. And still, he wrote no regrets. This isn't religious heroism. It's what happens when someone finds something so real, so deep, so completely reordering that their whole value system shifts underneath them. He didn't walk away from a fortune out of obligation. He walked away because he had found something bigger than all of it, something that had reached him first, for free, before he could do anything to deserve it. That's what grace does when it actually lands on a life. It doesn't produce guilt. It doesn't produce duty. It changes what you think is worth having. The parable of the prodigal son isn't really about a son who came home. It's about a father who loves. It's about who God actually is. A God who doesn't wait for you to figure out how to get to him. A God who comes down and runs towards you. A God whose love isn't the reward for what you do, it's the source of what you do. A God who chose to carry the weight of everything we've done so that you could get a clean set of clothes, a ring on your finger, and a kiss on your face. And that's what separates grace from just looking the other way. The Father who runs doesn't pretend nothing happened. He forgives. The cross is what that forgiveness cost. God paying the price to bring us back, running towards us. He doesn't ask for anything. He just holds on and says, "Come on, come inside with me." And maybe that's what still throws us off about grace. It's not a story about a son who got his act together enough to earn a second shot. It's a story about a father who never stopped watching the horizon, waiting. And when he saw that figure appear in the distance, he didn't calculate, didn't demand an explanation, didn't wait. He ran. William Borden wrote no regrets on the edge of a death that by any human measure looked like waste. A young man, a fortune, a whole life ahead of him, a destination he never reached, and still no regrets. Because when someone is found by a love like that, whatever gets left behind starts to feel small. People don't get that. Grace is uncomfortable. Maybe because deep down, most of us are expecting to find a God who stays put, a God who runs the numbers, a God who needs an explanation before he moves. But the father in the story ran. He held on. He welcomed his son home. That's our Father, and he's running.